What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Juice and Toya podcast, brought to you by One Body Los Angeles. I'm your co-host, Juice.
And I am Toya. Welcome to episode number 9.
Yeah.
Probably to date our most requested episode.
Tune in. Listen
We're talking about calories today.
Yes. All about calories. And honestly, I think the first few episodes that we wanted to do on this podcast is really clearing the air about a lot of different topics because, again, we mentioned this before, so many different perspectives, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You can get a lot of different ways. Let's say you're trying to lose weight. You know, you can learn different ways. There's 1,000 ways to lose weight. There's just 1,000 ways to build muscle. But sometimes when you have so many perspectives, people get confused and it gets it gets overwhelming. So we're here to try to give you a basic foundation of everything. So today's topic will probably extend to another episode, but we want to give you the foundation of calories and honestly, the misperception of calories. So that's what today's all about.
All right, let's get into some housekeeping. First of all, Level Up 2.0 is underway. We have people who are starting week 3 this week, but again, you can start this program at any time. We have people that are going to start in a few weeks because they did the other Level Up program first, which is a 6-week program. We have people who are like, I'm starting this in a month to prep for a wedding. You can start this whenever you want. The program is available now. We'll drop the link in the show notes or on the description if you're watching this, to where you can purchase it, or you can also do the program in our app. If you don't want a monthly app subscription, you can just purchase it and have yours to keep forever.
Oh yeah.
And then OBLA merch.
Hey, go get your merch, man. We've been selling a good amount of merch. We've sold out a lot of the sizes. I think especially in the men's, the green sage color, that's sold out. So we have your size. That's pretty much all the inventory that we have that's on the site. So definitely get it while you have it. We'll try to do another drop for the winter time when it gets a little cold, but we're going to work with the merch that we have now. So definitely go get your merch. Lululemon, of course, the best clothes in the game. You know, I'm in it right now. Toya's in it. So go get your merch. We appreciate all the support. And also share your photos with us.
Yes.
Showing your merch. We want to shout you out. And we honestly need to get the One Body LA page going too. So we want to kind of revamp and make that a part of our rotation of content. So let's roll into it. Let's get into it. Let's not waste time.
All right. So like you mentioned, there are so many misconceptions around calories. And we just kind of want to clear the air today. There's so much that we can say about it. And like you said, this will probably lead into another episode. But for today, we want to talk about what the calories are. They're obviously important, but why? And why they matter in terms of health and fitness.
Correct.
Leading up into why we will never tell you how many calories are going to be burned in a workout.
Again, our most asked question on YouTube by far. If I had $1 for every time we were asked that, we could probably go on vacation.
No, not probably. We could. This is asked multiple times a day. I'm not kidding. We'll probably type it in the search bar of our comments and show you how many times people say. But also I want to say, which is kind of sad, and I don't want to say that people are doing it for this reason, but if we put calories in the title of our YouTube workouts, we would have so many more subscribers. We've had people literally say, no joke, I would subscribe to this channel, but I don't know how many calories I'm burning. People have literally said that. So it's no one's fault that it used to be important to me. That's all I would look at is like, oh, a workout didn't matter if I didn't burn X amount of calories. So it's something that is just out there, and calories are so important that you think that that's the only thing that matters in a workout.
Yeah, calories aren't everything. That's what, honestly, the kind of point we're trying to get to with this podcast today is like, we're over obsessed with calories to the point where we're not even understanding how calories work, how they're burned, how they're, gained, how they're stored, right? So today's podcast will clear the air, take some notes if you need to, but we're going to dumb it down a little bit, not to get too sciencey, but really try to dumb it down to where you can understand it and you can move forward. And honestly, I think if you understand the concept of calories a lot better for what they are and what they do for your body, especially from a scientific standpoint, like sometimes people, we have a lot of fitness experts out there who try to redefine calories or redefine what they actually are. So you can't change what it is, right? You can't change science. So we're going to dumb it down and really try to bring a fresh approach to that. So let's get it.
First of all, calories. Calories are carbs, fat, and protein. They break down into macronutrients, and those macronutrients are carbs, fats, and proteins. Yeah. We did a podcast talking about the macronutrients and kind of talking about their importance. Mm-hmm. But all in all three of those are extremely important.
Oh, yeah.
Carbs, fats, and proteins are needed for everyone. With that being said, everyone's body is different and you may need a different breakdown of them. Different medical issues may cause you to have to stay away from different types of fats or stay away from different types of carbs because of insulin. So everyone needs carbs, fats, and proteins, but the breakdown in which they need them is going to be different for everyone. If it wasn't different for everyone, we could all eat the exact same to look the exact same, right? So my body needs a different breakdown of calories than his body. And this is why when you're tracking your calories, it's important to track your macros, as they call it, because if you only looked at staying under a certain amount of calories a day, that is drastically different than staying under a specific ratio of macros. Because if you ate, let's say you need 1,600 calories a day and all of it came from carbs, it's not doing your muscles very much good. Yeah. You're not getting good digestive or brain function because you're missing a lot of fats. So the breakdown of calories matters a lot.
Yeah. You may ask like, oh, how do I know how much protein, carbs, and fat do I need, right? That comes with, you can't just step into a machine that tells you your numbers, spit out your number. That comes with just a lot of trial and error, which is why we try to teach people what macros are and what they do for the body. Because we've, between me and Toya, we've both shifted how we've, eat certain macros over time. Like I used to be more carb dominant. Now I don't really need as many. I feel super bloated when I eat too many carbs, and now it's kind of shift to more protein dominant. Not her.
I love carbs.
Exactly. So it's kind of shifted. And that just goes to show too, it's trial and error in the sense that it shifts over time. Like as we've gotten older, your macros may shift, and you have to that's why we always try to teach people to eat intuitively, because when you do that, you're paying attention more of like, not necessarily, you're not tracking it per se, but you're paying attention more to how the food is making you feel. And once you understand that, then you can start to create ratios that make you feel the absolute best, right? Moving forward. And you can kind of carry on that. That's how you learn your ratio.
But to your point too, it changes over time because your lifestyle may change.
Correct.
He was a D1 athlete who was probably burning thousands and thousands and thousands of calories over what he was consuming. So that is where your carb dominant probably came from, because you required so much energy to sustain your energetic lifestyle, whereas now you're still an athlete. But his energy burning has drastically decreased. There's no more 2 days of football camps and all of that stuff, and so the amount of muscle mass that you had then was probably different. So your metabolism was different. So your goals and your body composition can change your macro breakdown as well. Because if you're trying to keep up with a D1 athlete's schedule, those carbs might be up a little bit.
Exactly. So that shifts, like you said, it shifts on a lot of different bases, and that's what we want you to understand. That learn what calories are, learn what macros are, and then once you have a good understanding, now you can start really putting it to practice every day. And it comes pretty quick, especially, you have to eat every day, right? So you can have that data in the sense of understanding like, oh, after eating, 40 grams of protein from that chicken breast for lunch, I feel great, right? And you can start putting the data together to where you can create a ratio that works best for your body. So that's the general makeup of calories, carbs, protein, and fat. And that's what we want to teach you. It's not all about calories in, calories out. Those macros do matter. And we'll get to that. We got a whole nother podcast on macros to get to that. So
and calories are a measurement of energy. It is literally energy for your body. Again, each different type of calorie provides a different type of energy. But calories are not just... Because calories are in food, we look at them as like a cheeseburger or a fry or whatever, but that calorie is information and it breaks down to different things in your body.
Exactly.
So once you look at calories that way, it really changes the game of what they're doing for you.
For sure. So, I'm sorry.
I was going to get into the next section if you're ready for it.
Hey, listen, this is, I want y'all to understand, Toya is a nutrition major. Okay, so she's passionate about anything to do with food, calories. So if you feel her energy from it, that's why.
But also I have a lot of digestive issues. Exactly. So I think I'm passionate about it because so much you see people say like, you have to eat this or you have to eat that, but that doesn't work for everyone. No. You know, that doesn't correlate to Correct. Everyone's digestive system or their body. So if you get nothing else from this podcast, eat what feels good to you.
Amen.
We could literally sit here and tell you like, don't eat chickpeas ever, and you're like, but they give me so much energy and I feel lean. Then eat the chickpeas, right? So chickpeas are great. That was just an example, but you know, anytime someone says don't eat X, but you're eating it and you feel good and it is not causing any harm, eat it.
That's a huge. I guess that's my nick with like the fitness industry now. It's like it's too many people saying don't do this, or too many people saying do this and nothing, right? And it's like it's creating these like closed off mindsets for like to give freedom give people the freedom to do whatever feels best to them, whether it's exercise, nutrition, how they recover, right? I try my best not to say, unless it's something that's significantly hurting somebody,
right.
I try my best not to say don't do this, because at the end of the day, I don't know your body as much as well as you do, right? So who am I to say not to do something when I'm not feeling what you're feeling? You know what I mean? Even though you may feel, you know, you may be in agreement with what I'm telling you, you still have to feel, you know, give people the freedom to feel for themselves and feel like, you know, I'm not closed off to other things because this expert, he looks great and he taught, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to get caught up in that. So that's just my 2 cents.
Love it. All right, let's
we
get
need to add some church organs behind that.
Let's get into why the calories are important. So first, like we just said, they provide your body with necessary energy, and not just energy in terms of like caffeine energy, like giving your body the energy to do something, but also the energy to repair muscle, to keep your digestive system organ, to keep you alive.
I'm still alive.
By the grace of God. So they provide you with energy to do so many different things in your body, but then also they provide you with the energy to do things like build muscle, right? So that, like I just said, that repair, that's where that protein comes into play. So they're important for keeping you alive. So that's why you can't never eat and still be alive. Like you see like malnutrition and stuff. Those calories are important. They keep you alive.
I would think of calories kind of like, you know, keeping level ground. So for example, you know, let's say, you know, at the end of the day, the reason people are so obsessed with calories is because it's all about calories in, calories out, right? If you eat more calories than you're burning, guess what? You gain weight. That's easy for people to understand, right? And you have to stay, you know, think of calories as just staying in a particular, you know, range, understanding how much energy that your body needs, but also not burning so much that you're not making progress and with whatever you're doing, right? You kind of have to find that perfect middle ground to where you feel good. You can really, you know, punch those workouts, but also enough to where, you know, you're not over consuming. Cause that's a lot of things too. Sometimes people, they complain about like strength training a lot because, they start strength training and then their appetite increases. Then like, I'm eating a lot more food, which is good. Because you're
increasing your muscle mass.
Exactly.
And your
metabolism is getting going, right? But the problem is the people don't know how to fuel that extra hunger that they're getting, right? So when you're fueling it with, you know, junk, essentially, that's when the misconception of calories starts to come in place. It's like, oh, it's bulking me. It's not, it's making your nutrition isn't
Don't blame it on the weights. Blame it on the food.
Your nutrition isn't aligning with your training style, right? So that's the thing that people need to understand. You know, if you're drastically changing how you're training, wow, say that 5 times. You know, it's going to change your nutrition. It's going to change your rest and recovery as well. And you have to be able to adapt to those things. So that's just the importance of, you know, understanding that it's just find that common ground with calories and you'll learn to have great output, but also, you know, not overdo it.
And the calories in versus calories out, it does matter. But like you said, it's not everything, right? Everything. Like it's also hard to track the exact amount of calories, right? So you might be off, give or take a few calories here and there. And I think sometimes people, like you said, they overconsume when they don't mean to. So for example, drinks, your coffees, all of those things, you might be tracking your food, but you're not tracking your Gatorades, your Starbucks, your lattes, your teas that might have sugar in them. You know, all of those things matter. Your oils, your butters, all of that. So if you're only tracking the food and then you're like, I was only eating 1,600 and I'm gaining, I need to go down even more. When in reality, you could have been eating 2,200, right? It can be difficult sometimes, but you have to be real with yourself, right? And we get people all the time who are like, my TDE, which we'll get into all that next, but they'll say, I'm supposed to be eating 1,800 calories a day. I'm only eating 1,200 right now. There's no way I can get to 18. You probably are eating 1,800 calories. And I hate to break that to you, but you probably are eating more than you think. And you're also probably burning less than you think. So
we'll get into that.
Yeah. So let's get into how calories are burned.
Yeah. So let's start off first of all. You mentioned TDEE and BMR. So let's refresh what that is. So BMR, if you've heard that term before, is your basal metabolic rate. And what this basically is, just to dumb it down, is like if you were just for your body to just live, right? And that's in a sedentary state. If you just laid in the bed all day and not moved a muscle, that is how much your body has to...
You're still burning calories.
Yeah, you're still burning calories. Your body, I want you to think of like calories. Your body is... So many different processes are happening within your body, right? We just don't think about it, right? The brain takes care of that. We just, whatever. So you have your muscles that need to be repaired. Your stomach has to digest. All these different things.
Your heart has to pump.
Your heart has to pump, right? All these processes are happening, which burn calories. So if you're at rest laying in a bed, your BMR is basically how many calories you burn at rest. So last time I did it, I remember it was 2,007 calories was my BMR. So that is like...
a lot.
That's a lot of calories. So if I sat all day and didn't do anything and I ate 2,007 calories every day, I would maintain my weight or where I am physically, right?
He would maintain his life.
Correct.
He wouldn't probably maintain the weight because his muscles not repairing.
Exactly.
Alley-oop.
Yeah, she threw me a assist there. But that's BMR. And then TDEE is your total daily energy expenditure. And that's your... the extra energy that you're burning throughout the day. So if you're not laying in a bed, you're going to work, right? You're going upstairs, you're active throughout the day. That's the extra energy that your body's burning. That's the total active energy. And that's usually what people go off of when it's in a sense of trying to create a caloric deficit or surplus. So
yeah. And so just a comparison here, let's say someone is 5'2", 120 pounds. You've got two people, twins, let's call them twins, 5'2", they're both 120 pounds. If one of them is a construction worker and one of them is a 9-to-5 desk worker, their TDEEs will be completely different because one is burning more active energy throughout the day, whereas the other one is more sedentary. So that's where that difference comes in. And the reason I said you may be burning less than you think is because I think people give themselves a little bit more credit on calculating their TDEE, where it might say how much moderate to heavy activity do you do, and they put 3 to 5 days. And if they're only doing 3 every week and not 5, and truly moderately intense exercise, then they're over calculating, right? And so they're giving themselves a little bit more credit for how much they're burning than they're actually truly burning. And keep in mind, if you're only doing like a 30-minute workout and then you're sedentary the rest of the day, right? That is completely different than someone doing a 30-minute workout and then they're a construction worker and they're on their feet all day, hammering, doing things
literally all day,
you know? So that's why your TDE, like calculating it can be hard because it gets very nitpicky, and that's why we've also said we recommend doing like a DEXA scan because a lot of times that can also help you with your BMR and your TDE as well, because it's seeing how much muscle mass you have. So that's a little bit more accurate than typing in numbers in a Google calculator.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's all still going to be a range. There's no exact way to understand how many calories you need to be burning, especially
unless you have access to like bod pod or something like very
but
like
you're not doing it every
that's like Michael Phelps or somebody like who truly is burning and needs like that correct nutrition. But for most of us, we don't have access to that.
And it's you know, if there was a machine to tell you how many calories you need to burn, it would probably change any given day. Like today you just did a workout and you went to go do cardio, your body might be like, oh, today you need this amount of calories, right? It's always changing in a sense. So that's why I don't want people to be stuck on a number forever. You know what I mean? And that's where the problems start to happen. So
so the first way that your calories are burned are through living. So your BMR, your TDE, that's your daily activity rate. The next is pretty obvious through exercise. So whether you're going on a walk, doing cardio in any form, doing strength training, bands, whatever form of exercise, Pilates, whatever you enjoy, you're going to be burning some sort of calories. So this specific topic of exercise is where it gets really nitty gritty because cardio burns calories, right? And let's say I guess the way I want to break this down is when you're burning calories through exercise, it's based off of your heart rate, right? And when you're doing cardio, your heart is usually at a higher rate than if you were doing strength training at a more consistent level. So let's say a 30-minute jog, your heart's probably going to be beating pretty consistently throughout that jog. Whereas in strength training, it may not get as high at a consistent level as running would. So you might get a couple peaks where your heart rate's kind of up. Let's say you like do a heavy hip thrust. It might be up during that time, but then you're usually resting for a good amount of time where that heart rate has come back down. So in that 30 minutes of strength training, you're burning less calories than you would if you went on a 30-minute run. Period, right? So this is where people look at running is better than strength training for losing weight or cardio, exactly, because they burn more calories. However, once you are done with that run, the calorie burn is stopped. Gone. Your heart rate goes back to normal, your resting heart rate, you go on about your day. The thing with strength training is, even though you didn't burn as many calories in that 30-minute session,
at least what your watch or whatever tracker that you're using says.
You are burning more calorie. When you leave that strength training session, you are still burning calories from that strength training session. One, because of EPOC, which is a whole excess post energy consumption. Google it. That's a whole different thing. But one, because of EPOC. Same with HIIT training. HIIT training, EPOC.
EPOC, if you wonder.
But the problem is your watch, your tracker isn't accounting for the muscle mass that increases your rate of metabolism, your excess post oxygen consumption or your EPOC. It's not accounting for all those other things that are increasing your metabolism, which is something that your consistent cardio wouldn't do. So this is also why you see people say doing an incline walk would be better for losing fat than going on a run. And it's only because you can still burn calories while preserving muscle mass, right? Which is important for fat burning. So there's no one thing that's better than another. In my opinion, whatever you're going to do that's consistent is going to be great. Now, there are things that are more efficient than another. So if the end goal is to lose body fat and maintain that body fat loss, you're going to need to incorporate more than just cardio. You can do cardio forever and you will lose weight, but you may not have the tone that you're looking for because you don't have any muscle mass. You are decreasing your metabolism, right? You may not be maintaining your muscle. And if you're losing muscle, your metabolism is decreasing. So it's more efficient to have a variety of things. And you can incorporate cardio. Absolutely. Please incorporate cardio. It's great for your heart. But also you want to have different modalities that are going to burn calories in other ways. So all of that to say, don't just focus on the calorie burn in that short amount of exercise. There are 24 hours in a day. Your exercise might be one of them, right? So in that short window of your day, that can't be the only place that you're burning calories.
Preach, Toya. You are preaching today. Oh my goodness, I love it.
Are you gonna put organs on this?
I might have to submit. Somebody send some organs in.
That's a lot of information, but all I'm trying to say there is your exercise is a very small portion of your day, 100%. And if that's your only time that you're focused on burning calories, that is a very small portion of that can't be the only place that your calorie burn comes from. Yeah. We don't all have time to do 2 a days. We don't all have time to exercise 2-3 times a day and burn a lot of calories. So you have to keep in mind, how else am I burning calories throughout the day? Yeah. Your muscle mass, your EPOC, eating more protein, that increases your metabolism. The list goes on.
We'll do a metabolism podcast, because that's a huge topic. And people, again, like the first time you told me, somebody said they thought a metabolism was an organ.
Yes.
That I've never heard that, but it makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah. Because you got to remember too, like we said, we have studied this. We've been doing this. Correct. We've learned this. So it's the same as, like we said, our CPA probably thinks that I don't have a college degree with the questions I ask, but that's his field of study, you know? And so you have to remember, these are not what might seem obvious to some people. For others, they're learning, you know? And so we never want anyone to feel like something they're asking is a dumb question, because there's no such thing. We'd rather you ask and learn, because sometimes we have to learn. Sometimes people ask us questions that we're like, I don't know. And then that intrigues me to want to find out.
Yeah. So back on with one thing I want to say about, you know, the people who are so obsessed with cardio, and cardio being a calorie burner. I want you to think about it like this. You know, cardio, yes, it keeps the heart rate up. That's what burns more calories. You literally, you know, when I go on a run, I stick it at probably like 150 or 160, depending on how fast I'm running, right? Of course, if my heart is continuously pumping, you know, for 30 minutes, of course I'm going to seemingly burn more calories, because guess what? When you turn on your watch and start that run, what do you do as soon as you stop that run? You turn your watch, you turn that particular exercise, at least with an Apple Watch, right? You press end workout and then you're done. You're not thinking about, all right, am I still burning calories with that? With strength training, think about it like this. You're adding resistance to your body, right? That's the difference between, you know, doing steady state cardio and doing strength training. With strength training, you have to add load to your body. So your body has to adjust to that a lot more. It has to adapt to the amount of resistance, right? That's why a lot of times you feel, you know, pretty sore. You know, I feel a lot more sore when I do a strength workout than when I do a cardio workout, because I'm adding load to my body. My muscles have to rip and repair all the time, right? So of course, that's where EPOC comes in the sense that your body is recovering, right? Your body, as soon as you finish that workout, let's say you shredded up your muscles, or you did a cool, you know, 30-minute juice and Toya workout, you know, you use some heavier weights, you shredded up that muscle, right? The reason you feel sort of like, ooh, you feel that muscle, that sort of tension later on in the day, is because your body is working, right? Your body is repairing. That calorie burn is consistently happening over the course of the day. So that's just my 2 cents in the sense of understanding, like, within a certain time frame, yes, you will burn more calories, but
definitely
over the course of the day, when your body's continuously processing what just happened earlier that
and
day,
repairing,
right? That
you're continuing.
Exactly. And that's what gets the metabolism going as well too. So we'll get super specific with that, but that's just the basic understanding I want people to get. So
good job.
Hey, good job.
All right. How else can we burn calories?
Man, we said through rest, we said through exercise. And honestly, I want people to understand the little pieces of activity throughout the day that can make a difference too as well. So
those are your neat calories.
So like she said, it's 24 hours in a day, and you're probably there's people who only move 20 minutes to 30 minutes a day, right? So any bit of extra activity that you can do throughout the day can help.
Absolutely.
If your goal is to burn calories, and especially in the sense of losing weight or just being more active, just staying upright. We both, you know, with COVID happening, we both had like sitting desks, and we're like, we need to just stay on our feet, because we literally went from being in a gym, walking around all day, standing literally all day, to sitting on a couch training a lot of our clients virtually, which is more comfortable to do. So we got some standing desks just to kind of stay on our feet a little bit more. And it kept us from being super tight too as well. So doing little pieces of activity throughout the day. Take the stairs. If you got, you only got to go to level 2 and you have no physical limitations, take the stairs. Right?
Take the stairs.
Please. And I want people to understand every little bit of activity matters.
Another one? Park far away at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Instead of like driving around the parking lot 6 times trying to find a close one, take the furthest one and walk to the grocery store.
Get your steps in, kings and queens. Go get it. Like you try to, create little pieces of activity throughout your day. It's nothing to do, right? It's just we've created this lazy mindset because it's all, honestly, yes, every day is all about being as efficient as possible. But if you can find windows of opportunity to be just a little bit more active, that might be, the one thing that cracks the code with your weight loss. Yeah. Right. It really adds. Like me and Toya, we try to go on a walk every day or every other day. Just, it's good for us mentally. But the bottom line also is we're getting 2 to 3 miles of extra activity, per day.
And this is why too, we have some of the 10-minute workouts on our channel, because it's just, if someone has a 10-minute time window where they could go on a walk, but let's say it's raining or it's cold or whatever, you can still get in 10 minutes of movement. Because we've had people say like, oh, this 10 minutes isn't a workout. Who said that's the only thing they're doing? People, I think, feel like sometimes like, oh, 10 minutes isn't enough for what? Is it just a little snack of a break where you just want to get in some movement? It's great. Sometimes we'll go on a 15-minute walk just to get some fresh air.
And it feels so much better after we get back.
Would I say like, oh, it's only a 10-minute walk, it doesn't do anything? That's incorrect, So
go look at the comments under those 10-minute workouts and you'll literally see people say, I was not going to do anything today. Like wasn't feeling it. I turned on this. I said, look, they said they saw 10 minutes. And they were like, okay, I can give myself 10 minutes. And they said, I ended up doing it twice because of how much better I felt after the first round.
Sneaky.
And that's why we make these short videos, because we understand like everybody's on different levels, right? There are people who have to work out for an hour every day, right? Which that might be what they need mentally. And there are people who need a no excuse reason to just get moving every day. And sometimes that's what sparks people's fitness journey is they start with that 10 minutes and then they get through it and then they get inspired and then they work their way up to 15, 20, 30 and so on and so forth. So don't, if you're somebody like, you may be an expert and you work out every day and look at that 10-minute workout. It's like, look at they're doing they're encouraging 10 minutes, but we're not encouraging. We're trying to inspire people to just, because
preach.
Yeah, we make these workouts for a number of reasons. These 10-minute workouts. Number one, you can, for the people who need it, and then also there are people who need that extra little bit of maybe a finisher at the end of one of their other workouts. They always add that type of video on, or even somebody may even view it as a warm up. You know what I mean? Even though it's got weights in it, some people's like, I like to warm up with this. So there are so many uses for any amount of time of activity. You just like, that's why we try to make them, because everybody's on different levels and, everybody deserves the opportunity to just get some movement every day,
And then wrapping up how calories are burned. Lastly, your body composition matters. So your gender, your muscle mass, your hydration levels, height, weight, all of those things determine your metabolic rate. And this is, it changes, like he just said, his, breakdown change. This can change as you get older, because your body composition changes, and for many different reasons, whether you've had kids, you may not have the time to work out that you did when you were young. I don't have the time to work out I did when I was, 20. I used to go on runs at like 7:30 at night, and
that's
now
all we had was
absolutely
workout was life.
So this changes over time for so many different reasons, but your body composition matters so much in calorie burn, and this leads us to our next section,
the ultimate topic. So to our most asked question, let's do a bit of a FAQ, an early FAQ. If you didn't know, our most asked question on YouTube is, how many calories does this burn?
Sometimes they're nice and they say, please, how many calories does this burn?
And some people say, this workout isn't good enough. It doesn't even tell you how many calories it burns. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you guys love calories.
Wow. So that's why we were inspired to make this podcast, because that question in itself kind of just sparked this topic. So here's why we don't put calories on our workouts. And what we mean by that, we won't ever tell you recommended amount of calories we think it'll burn. We won't even go as far to include a breakdown of male, female, height, weight. Like that's doing too much for us, and it's honestly not what you need to be focused on.
It's not helping you, I promise.
So, and I want to first put a disclaimer out there. There's nothing, we mean nothing against anybody or any other channels who do this, right? Everybody has their own methods, right? They have the freedom to do whatever they want.
And at the end of the day, I would probably say most channels are also just trying to help and inspire.
That's all. There's no harm. That's what they're not trying to, mislead you or whatever the case may be. They're just doing what they feel is right and what they know, right? We're just here to tell you why we don't. Yeah. All right. So first and foremost, I make these thumbnails on YouTube to try to, make it inviting and stuff. So that's where you'll typically see it is like a 30-minute workout, burn 500 calories, right? The reason we don't want to do that, number one, it's misleading.
Yeah.
Right. We just talked about how calories work, how they're different from person to person, from body composition, height, weight, all that stuff. If we were to put a specific number, right? Toya, you're 5'2", 5'3",
5'2".
5'2". I try to give her an inch. I try to give 5'2" and a half. We have an 80-pound difference, right? 80 pounds between me and Toya. So if I told you that you could burn 500 calories, or you will burn 500 calories doing this 30-minute workout, that is not accurate to say, because how can Toya and I both burn 500 calories in 30 minutes, and we can go the exact same speed, give the exact same effort? We will not both burn 500 calories. And we've put this to the test before, right?
Yes.
We've done it to where it was a channel, and I obviously won't say it was a great workout.
It was a 20-minute hit workout.
20-minute hit workout. Did it say 500 calories?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It said 500 calories. I did it and I bust my bleep, right? I was going hard.
Yep.
And I burned like 320 calories and you burned what?
Guess what I burned? 120.
120.
And I went hard. I was sweating.
We were sweating,
and I'll even say, like, some of the rest periods, I was like, I feel like it's a hit workout. I gotta keep going. Yeah. And I burned 120, and it said burn 500.
Burn. Now there are some channels that will say, which this is better if you're gonna put calories on there, up to.
Yeah.
Right? Because now like, okay, there's a maximum, so I'm anywhere between 0 and the 500.
But I want you to remember this. In a hit workout, that is usually a hit workout or cardio workout is where you'll usually burn the most calories. I want you to know that 500 calories in a 20 or even 30-minute workout is probably not likely. Like, I've gone on hard runs for 20 minutes and didn't burn 500 calories.
I'm going to be honest. I'm 5'10", between 190 and 205. I don't even weigh myself anymore, but... Yeah. I'm in between
Strong
that.
Man.
I've done the 30-minute full body dumbbell AMRAP workout. And if you haven't checked that workout out on our channel, it's literally nonstop hit, right? Yeah. The goal is the workout is to complete as many rounds as possible. And we did it live on camera to kind of, just show how we do it and inspire you to how it should be done and really go hard. I did that workout, and that was the first time I had come close to burning 5. I think I burned like 4.
What'd you do, 19 rounds?
I did 19 rounds in 30 minutes, and I think I burned, it was like 487, right? And that was with me continuously going.
No break.
No break. I was going, I literally drank water for like 30 seconds, and then I got right back to it. So that is how hard it is to burn a certain amount of calories. Usually, and this is just for me, I don't want anybody to go off this, but like when I used to do cardio, when I used to be so obsessed with calories, usually my rate of calorie burn was like, it was 10 calories per minute or something like that. Just like how I was burning the calories. So it is hard to burn a lot more calories within a short time frame like that than you think, right? Yeah. You have to be getting after it. And so to not get too far into it, the reason we don't, number one, first and foremost, is it's misleading, right? We just gave you just a quick example of how misleading it can be from person to person. You know what I mean? So if you're counting your calories, imagine if I tell you you're going to burn 500 and you don't have a fitness tracker, you're just taking my word for it, and you burn 220. Yep. Now that's 300 calories that you've accounted for, and now you're going about that you think you burn. Now you're including this into your nutrition, and then you're probably tracking your nutrition wrong. So you see how this can go. You see,
why are you grilling them like that?
I'm not grilling. I'm just very passionate because again, somebody has to say it, and I don't want we don't want to be the ones that mislead you. So
it's misleading. It's inaccurate because there's no way you can tell me how many calories I've burned. We've responded to some of them. They're like, well, can you at least give me an estimate? No, because one, I don't know you. Like, I don't know your body composition, your age, your height, your gender. How am I going to give you an accurate estimate? I can give you an estimate.
0 to 500.
0 to 500. There you go.
And then what?
Yeah, so it's misleading. It's inaccurate because just please remember this for whenever you go find a workout to do. If it tells you how many calories, if you want to do the workout, wonderful. A lot of them are probably great workouts, but don't do it just because of the amount of calories it tells you it's burned, because it's probably extremely inaccurate. Yeah. And then on to that point, it will hinder you from multiple. Yes. If you do a workout just because it said, let's say you click on a workout that said 1,000 calories, you're probably doing it, which there are so many of them out there.
It was usually like the hour-long workouts.
Even then,
but
a whole nother topic. But let's say you click on one that says 1,000. You're probably clicking on that because you're like, I need a good hard workout. Like if it's burning 1,000 calories, it's probably an intense workout, right? Yeah. So you're clicking on that, but you're like not going all out because you just have to do it to burn 1,000 calories. Yeah. Right. So if that's all you got to do, you're just going to go through the motions. You might push yourself a little bit, but if you don't understand what it truly takes to burn 1,000 calories, you're not pushing yourself at that level, right? And so, because if you did, probably wouldn't choose that workout. So it just really can take away from, you're already showing up to do the hard work, and it can take away from you really doing the hard work.
And I think it's, we are so passionate about this because it's very, I guess, like she said, we've studied this and we know how calories work, but we're passionate about it because it's very hindering, and it's hindering thousands of people that follow our workouts on a daily basis, to the point where we don't, it might get to a point where people are looking at us like your workouts don't work. Because this is similar to a workout that I did on another channel, and it doesn't burn as many calories, and then now it's just creating a snowball effect of issues. So, this is why we'll get into how to more accurately measure your calories, but this is where we don't want it to get to a point where, like she just mentioned, it's hindering you and it's making you lazy in a sense. You're literally giving yourself credit. As soon as you see those 300 calories in 10 minutes, right? You're going to do that workout, right? Of course, you may give great effort, or you just it's 6 a.m. and you're just trying to get some movement in. Yeah. And what do? You do that workout, and you obviously feel better because your endorphins are going, you got your heart rate up. Yeah. After that workout, you're like, ooh, man, burn 300 calories. Now I'm going to eat a 300 calories.
Go get my Starbucks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And now it's just creating a bad relationship between what your body actually needs and how much is burning and all that good stuff. So,
and that, what he just said about like, oh, I did another channel's workout and it burned X amount of calories and this one only burned this. We've also seen so many times where people are like, I only burned X amount of calories. And we're like, only? That's a lot in 20 minutes. Like, I think this is where people too, it's like that lose weight fast where they're like 20 minutes, I should be burning 500 calories, probably close to 100 or 150 to be completely honest with you. Right. And so if they're like, all I have is 20 minutes, I only burned 120 calories. This goes back to my point of your exercise can't be your only calorie burn for the day. No one has time to work out 3-4 hours a day, right? Yeah. If you see these influencers or bloggers or vloggers where they're like, I went and saunaed and then I worked out, and then after I worked out, I went on a long walk with my matcha.
They're moving all day.
They're moving all day, but we don't all have time to go do
Nobody
that, right?
Has time to be an influencer all day.
Exactly. And so if we don't have time to go on a morning walk, an afternoon walk, and a lunch walk, which most people don't, then we have to find ways, like he said, to create movement throughout the day, even if it's standing, even if you're on a Zoom meeting, you can turn your camera off, hit some squats while you're watching the meeting, like just little things that add up, because you're right. 20 minutes, if that's all you have, you're not going to burn a lot of calories. And you're like, I need to burn more calories than this to lose weight. You're right. Yeah. But it's not all going to come from that one little workout,
And like she said, movement happens in so many ways. I want to shout out my dad. My dad, on the weekends, most people don't, and you can look at our new YouTube numbers and tell most people don't work out a lot on the weekends. But my dad, it's not always a workout. My dad maybe does like strength training 2 or 3 times a week. He'll go on long walks with my mom. But on the weekend, his form of activity, and even my mom too, he'll go work out in the yard. He'll work out in the front yard.
Cleaning the house.
Clean some weeds. Yeah, my mom will be like cleaning the house. She'll put up her Halloween decorations. She is moving.
Yeah.
Right? Just because you're not like,
working out or taking a time
think
to
about
work
it like
out.
this. The reason you're sweating profusely during a workout is because you're cramming so much energy within a 30-minute time frame or an hour time frame, right? You're constantly moving throughout that time frame. Whereas when you're doing something very low impact, but you're very active, right? My mom could clean the house for 4 hours, right? It's not very strenuous, but over that 4 hours, it gets tough. And that's why afterwards she eats and probably takes a nap. Same with my dad, right? Activity can come in a number of ways. I have clients who work out on the deck and just paint stuff, like, right? Just movement matters. And that's what we want people to understand. Like, don't restrict yourself to just doing that one bit of activity throughout the day. Try to find time and things to do throughout the day to really keep your body active and moving, and it will make a difference. I promise you. I promise you it will.
So all in all of that to say, this is why you'll never see us putting it on our titles, our workouts, because we are trying to help you, right? And
we snuck it in a video one time, or
we put how many we burned. Yeah,
and we said how much we burned, and we only did that because you can see in the video how much effort
we went hard.
Yeah, and we purposely said it before the video. Let's really try to go hard and say the calories that we did. That way they understand that you can't just go through the motions, expect to burn what I burn. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. So
and I was talking to a friend of ours who is in fitness, and she was talking about the podcast, and I told her we're going to do an episode on this, and she was like, I can't believe how many people are asking for the calories. Like, you have to do an episode on that, because to someone who is, in fitness, they are like, why is that such a question? But you have to think from outside looking in. That's all that people care about, because it's all they've been taught. They've been taught, if you're trying to lose weight, eat less calories. If you're trying to gain weight, eat more calories. So of course you want to know how many calories does this burn. That is very natural question. Definitely. And it's human nature. I would want to know. If I wasn't tracking and I'm trying to lose weight, I'd be like, yo, how many calories does this burn? Because if my main goal is I want to lose weight, that's all I'm concerned about. Correct. So we want you to, yes, be concerned about it, but understand that it comes in different ways, and it's more than just that one workout. Correct. So should we get into how to measure?
So now that we've told you, all right, all this stuff isn't accurate. And it's
so
not
quit
happening.
asking. Shout out to Nick Saban.
We're going to tell you how to accurately measure, or more accurate ways than just, typing it in Google, how many calories are on burn. That will give you a baseline of, at least, again, that range or that window of where you should be, whether you're trying to lose weight or build muscle. So number one, we mentioned this before, a simple way that you can do right now by going to your internet browser is to calculate your BMR and TDE, and then try to, click a realistic activity level that you're doing. So a lot of times it'll ask you your gender, height, weight, and sometimes it'll say your body fat, which you would probably not know that. Yeah. And you click submit, or did I say age? Whatever. And you click submit, and it tells you what your BMR is and your TDE is. But before you do that, you have to click what your activity level to understand what your total activity is. So a lot of times it'll ask, what's your activity level? 0 days a week, 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 7. A lot of times people will, say, 3 to 5, right? Because that's a huge range.
It is a very big range.
You know what I mean? That's 2 days of activity that,
may or may not
be there. So this is why we say, yes, it gives you a range, and try to stay within that small range if you're just doing a TDEE calculator, right? So that's a simple way to give you a range. But obviously, there are more accurate ways that you can kind of shrink that range a little bit more and understand.
Exactly. And with the TDE, again, it is not going to be 100. Like, we'll have people where they're like, it says I need to eat 2,100. I can't get close to that. that's okay. Start at like 1750, 1800 and see how you feel. Because if you're close to that 3 days a week, that 2100 might be for more someone who's at 5 days a week, right? So take that number with a grain of salt, and at the end of the day, still listen to your body and never ever eat below your BMR. Please. And unless you want to destroy your metabolism, but also if you're tracking your macros and your calories, if you're putting in that number based off your TDEE, do not track your exercise, because what it will do...
Are you talking about specifically, what are you talking about? So like,
if you're tracking your calories, so like, anyway, MyFitnessPal, MyPlate, there's a ton of different ways. So if you're tracking your macros and you're that number that you're basing it off of, so let's say you put in 1750, if you got that number from your TDEE, you've already included your activity level, correct? So if you add in exercise on the tracker,
it's add more calories.
It is adding more calories, assuming what you burned. There's two things wrong with this. One, how does that tracker know how many, if we can't tell you how many calories you're burning in a workout that we created, how's the app going to tell you? So that's number one. But number two, you've already included your activity level, right? So all you're doing now is increasing
more calories.
Exactly. So I actually never thought to bring this up until we dropped Level Up 2.0. We included a nutrition guide. We had so many people say, what activity do you want me to add for this workout? And I was like, no. So
you've already factored that number in.
Yeah. So your TDEE is total daily energy expenditure. That energy is the calories that you expend from your total daily, right? So you've already incorporated that. So that is one common mistake that we see that could be hindering your goals, because you might be overeating 500-600 calories and not...
You're just eating what you're burning, essentially.
And then you're not, or overeating, because when you're burning, it's including on top of, right? So this is another reason why people get frustrated, where they're like, I'm counting my calories, I'm working out, I'm doing all these things. Why am I not losing weight? And it's these little mistakes.
Sometimes it's a quick little fix. And it just flips,
changes everything.
Exactly.
Changes it.
That's just a simple way that you can go right now. And obviously another way, you've seen it on our wrists. You've seen it. They have heart rate monitor, all that stuff.
Chest monitors.
Fitness trackers will give you, again, a more accurate reading of what your calorie burn can be, especially on a daily basis too. So for example, most people, I won't say most people, a lot of people have Apple Watches, and you can see, what your Apple Watch predicted is your total daily energy expenditure. But one thing, I'm gonna get a little technical. Please make sure that if you're going off of your calories on your watch, please make sure that your height and weight within your settings is accurate too. Because I've seen a lot of people who didn't even go in and adjust their
and it's
health.
On factory settings.
It's on factory settings, because so your settings could say you may be a female and it might say you're a 5'10", 160 pound male. And now it's going off your heart rate. It doesn't know how much you weigh. It doesn't know how tall you are. You have to input that information. So I see that's one common mistake, that people are not inputting their measurements, right? It's spitting out that information because it's going off of what the body composition that you inputted into it. So, and then even also, let's say you lost 20 pounds and you forgot to change that, right?
Yeah.
That's
your metabolism is changing.
Right. So now the watch is probably calculating more calories within your workouts that you're burning, because that was 20 pounds ago, right? So that's another common mistake that I want people to try to pay attention. Go into your health settings, make sure that everything in there is accurate. And the more data that you give your fitness tracker as far as your body composition, the more accurately it's going to be able to spit out that data to where you can really understand, okay, again, it's not very accurate, because also if you're wearing a Apple Watch, you're not wearing it all night. Right? So it's also going off of your BMR to understand how much calories you're burning at rest when you don't have your watch on too as well. So that's just a simple fix that again, we wear these watches because we like to have our health data at our fingertips, but you got to make sure this data is right. Now you're going off information is incorrect. So, and
your watches, again, grain of salt. At the end of the day, it might say I'm burning, 2,100 calories and I'm basing my food off that, but I'm like, oh, I'm still hungry. I might be burning more than what my watch says. So at the end of the day, these are all just guesses. Same with the heart rate monitor. I think a heart rate monitor is a little bit more accurate than an Apple Watch, but you're not wearing a heart rate monitor 24/7. It's probably very uncomfortable to sleep in. You're not maybe wearing it during work. So
they do have overnight ways to track all this. So they have the Oura ring and like different things that you can wear overnight, but you don't want to wear a ring at night either. To be honest, not everybody
all
wants to do that.
These things are guesses, but they're more accurate than you just
reading
guessing
a thumbnail and saying I'm going to burn this much.
So all of these things can be helpful. They're tools to help you, like at the end of the day, your body best. If you're still hungry, you might need to add more calories in. If you feel very full, but you still are supposed to eat 700 more calories, you might have eaten more than you thought, and
listen to your body.
Listen to your body at the end of the day. And like he said at the beginning, when it comes to calories, there's a lot of trial and error. Of course, when you increase your calories, you're going to feel full for a little bit, but then you kind of get used to it. But if you're always feeling full, that's probably not good for your digestive system, right? And so now you're creating more issues. So at the end of the day, your body best. I could sit here and tell you need to eat 150 grams of protein. You get to 80 and you're like, I can't eat any more protein. One might be under tracking and eating more than you think. But at the end of the day, your body best. If you feel like I'm good, I'm seeing great results, my muscle is building, then great, then wonderful, So all of this to say, calories are good.
Yeah.
Calories play a role in your body. Calories are different for everybody, and we're never going to put them in a thumbnail.
Yeah, and understand this, like she just made some great points. Fitness is a journey, and like she mentioned, everything is constantly changing, and it requires trial and error. All of this requires trial and error. Everything that you want to know in an instant, in the sense of how your body is burning something or how to build muscle, right? It's trial and error. And trial and error. I
think you said that 3 times, and I was looking at your lips to see if you're saying ever or error.
Did I say ever? Goodness gracious. I'm hungry, y'all.
I was just looking. I looked over because I was like, if he says ever again, he might think that's what it is, and I don't know how to correct him.
Forever trial and error. How about that? But anyways, if you didn't understand, it's trial and error.
Trial and error.
So when it comes to your food, when it comes to your calorie burn, understanding that, and also, even within technology. So with these fitness trackers, again, the more data that you're inputting, right? The Apple Watch, it has these algorithms that the more workouts that you input, it gives you more accurate data as to how much you're burning. So let's say you've been wearing this watch for over a year. Your watch has all of this data to where you can literally, that's why it's important too to like input what type of workouts that you're doing, because now you can see, this workout had this much output. This workout, gave me, this, it just has so much more information to where it becomes more accurate over time as you have that data. So just understand, like, this information isn't to our fingertips, at least not yet. The technology is getting crazy to where you could probably step in the machine one day and it just spits out a number based on a lot of different factors. But until that time, these are some ways to accurately measure based on everything we presented today, in a sense of how calories work, how they're burned, how to track them, how to measure them, all that good stuff. So
absolutely.
All right.
I want to challenge you all. Try to see if you can what's the word I'm like when you do a workout, like really, really push yourself and see your calorie burn, right? And see like
kind of one of those workouts, and like if it says 500, really try to see for yourself. That's what I want people to understand. Really, don't follow everybody's exact word, especially when it comes to stuff like that. Really try to find out for yourself and what works for you and your body,
And if you burn 500 calories doing it, wonderful.
Great.
Wonderful.
Please. Yes.
But
all right, so that's pretty much the podcast today. I want to say something. If we came off a little, heavy today, I understand that it's more about how passionate we are about y'all having this information.
Yeah.
Because we're passionate about it because we get it every single day and we can't stop it and we have to address it. So this is, let's lighten the mood a bit and let's do a dad joke.
Yeah. And again, like he said, if we're passionate about it, so we're seeing it literally multiple times a day. We might have gotten a comment right now as we're doing this podcast. And so for that reason, we're like, okay, there's a reason people want to know. Again, we used to want to know. Like he said, we used to be so fixated on it, but we understand why it's being asked, which is why we addressed the podcast in this way and answered those things, because you want to know, because you're either trying to lose weight or gain weight, usually,
at the end of the day, usually.
So we want to give you more tools to help you along that journey, to make that journey a little bit more accurate.
Yeah. So in future episodes, we'll go into more about macros. We can get very deep into macros. We can get very deep into calorie burn in general, like just different ways to just really maximize that in general. So a lot of different types. That's what I love about this podcast. There's so many different avenues we can go in, and so many different, grooves we can get in the sense of really trying to share some helpful information.
Yeah. So you got a dad joke?
Yeah. Do you?
Not today.
Okay. I got a dad joke today. Actually, I got two.
You want to do FAQ first, or
we did enough FAQ? We answered the mighty FAQ.
That was the main. That's the main FAQ.
Yeah, we answered the ultimate one. So
okay, let's hear the dad joke.
I got two. One I saw somewhere, so don't give me credit for either of these. Actually,
okay.
This is a layup. This is like last week. This is a layup. So, what is Cardi B's favorite exercise?
Cardio.
That's a layup. It's good.
That's too easy.
It's too
okay.
Easy. Yeah, it's good. Some people might have been stuck. All right. So this one's not as much of a layup. It might be.
Okay.
What muscle group does a bird like to work in the gym? What muscle group
Pets.
is it? Dang.
Too easy. When you said
easy.
bird, I already said pet.
I know, and then I messed up the delivery. It's awful. I wish I had I have another fitness non-dad joke.
Okay.
No, you know that one. So we're just gonna wrap up the episode.
We're gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you all
come with
so
some
much. I'll come with a good one next time. But again, thank you for sitting through our passion of this episode.
Yeah.
Again, we are just passionate about this topic because it can hinder so many people from reaching their goals. Absolutely. Yeah. So at the end of the day, calories are not end all be all in terms of what they say on your watch or a screen or your tracker. Calories are so much more. They're burned in so many different ways. Yeah. So don't just focus on your 30 or 45 minute workout. Yeah. Make it throughout the day.
And I'll leave you with this. Really change your mindset, right? If you're doing a workout or going into it with the mindset of I want to maximize my calorie burn, don't go at it within that. And again, I don't like to say don't, but try not to go at it with solely that mindset. Go into that workout to say, look, I want to get better today, right? If there's a particular, workout of ours to where, let's say, you get to those lunges or you get to shoulder presses and you find that that's where you struggle. Go into that workout saying, I want to get better at shoulder presses today. I really want to maximize my reps today. I want to go hard with every 40, 50 second interval and let the calories speak for itself. Yes. Go into it with an intention of getting better and trying to really grow, because that's what it's all about, right? You're trying to change, right? If you're not going at it, going into a workout with the mindset of really maximizing that change, instead you're just trying to focus on a number. Right now, you're missing the sole intention of why we created the workout. Right, we didn't create these workouts for you to burn calories, right? Like solely helpful. Calories.
Yeah,
we didn't create these workouts for you to burn as many calories as possible. We created it so you can have a well-rounded, library of different workouts that you need in order to grow in different areas, whether it's your chest, shoulders, legs. Right, we try to create
chest, shoulders, pants,
okay,
shoes.
Boosie. So that's why we're here to talk about it in the sense of, really it's not end all be all. Just go into it with the mindset of saying, look, I want to get better today. I want to grow this or lose weight here and really try to maximize whatever the workout is presented, So yeah, that's it. All right. So we appreciate y'all for joining us. Please go like and subscribe on the Juice and Toya podcast channel. We're over 5,000 subs. Woo-hoo! We appreciate y'all, man. That's huge for us. I remember when we hit our first 5,000 on our main channel and we were litty. So
we went to dinner to celebrate.
Yeah, we were pretty excited because that was from the ground up. So we understand it's very hard to do, and we appreciate you for rocking with us with this podcast. Also, drop a 5-star rating and wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps us in the algorithms, and we're just trying to reach more people and share this helpful information. Yes. And also, I'll leave you with that. Please share this would, whoever you may find useful. You know, we try to have a very light approach to certain things in a sense of not being super strict. We try to be loose and present things.
Ooh, I have one thing to leave you with.
Okay.
It's an ask.
There we go.
If you are subscribed to our Juice and Toya channel, which you should be, if you see someone comment how many calories does it burn, respond to them with the link to this podcast so that they can learn why we don't put it on there. And then maybe if a lot of people see that, then people will understand, because it's hard for us to respond to every comment on our Juice and Toya YouTube channel, of course. So I try, when I see the comment, I usually try to respond with, we did make a video about it on our channel. But if you see someone comment, respond with the link to this podcast,
or
and
at
then
the very least share what you learned, you know, about it, to where it can help them understand why we don't
because we don't want to just say no, we're not doing that. Like, we want them to understand why, so that they, maybe it also changes their mindset of how they're working out as well.
All right, well, we appreciate all of you for joining us again. Thank you for subbing, thank you for tuning in and spending an hour with us today. We're going to go eat, obviously, because I couldn't talk earlier and I got a little brain fog, so
trial and error. So thank you for joining us.
I'm gonna name this podcast Trial and Ever with Calories.
But yeah, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you all at the next one.
Go Astros.